Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric Page.
And Phil
after
McCracken.
party.
Yeah,
Phil McCracken.
I can't see the rest of that picture, but chock full of nuts. What is that? Is it a spread or something? What is that?
It's a coffee.
Oh, is it?
I didn't realize. I just
talked about it last week, but I forgot.
Yeah, I just typed in chock into Google. That's what. Is this where the chock came from? You overly caffeinated from some coffee.
Oh, I see a couple people asking about reviews. It's not that I backed off from reviews. It's just that I am doing other stuff for my channel right now that's going to change. It's a lot of...
If you know, you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know. It's a lot of stuff. Honestly, it's a lot of stuff. If you're a Team Eric member...
Or an OnlyFans member.
Right, or OnlyFans member. You'll know there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. And you're going to see that start to come into light sometime in October.
Well, has anyone actually had chock full of nuts? I
don't know. Have they? I don't know.
It says it's premium, so I think if you buy it, it's a bit of a flex.
Yeah. Cal with the 99 super chat. Thank you so much. If you guys stick around, look, here's what we'll do. Here's what we do. If you guys stick around to the end of the live stream, I will go over quickly the changes to the channel. I'll talk about them here. Because I talked about them. What?
In freestyle rap or just talking?
No. Just talking about it. There's a lot of stuff. Trust me, you guys. It's a lot of stuff. But yeah, if you stick around to the end, we'll talk about it. Because today's going to be an interesting live stream because the only thing we really have to talk about is Stargirl. I am going to talk about Supergirl because I don't want to bring about Supergirl.
And I'll take my midstream nap when the Supergirl talk is going on.
There we go. Absolutely. I do want to point this out. We talked about this for a moment before we went live. So on the 25th of September was Christopher Reeve's birthday. And if you don't know who that is, that was like the quintessential Superman. Christopher Reeve is the Superman from the Superman movie from the late 70s into the 80s. And a lot of people consider him to be the archetype for what Superman is. When people say that they like classic Superman, that's typically the person that they're talking about. And there's also George Reeves, but no relation to Christopher. Who played like in the black and white era. Anyway, it was his birthday on the 25th, and there was a lot of people on social media who were going to the birthday shout outs for Christopher Reeve and going, "Happy birthday, Christopher Reeve, but I still prefer Henry Cavill as Superman." Or, "It's great that it's Christopher Reeve's birthday, RIP, but we still prefer Henry Cavill. He's our Superman."
Yeah, join the cult. Join the cult.
Who does that? I mean, I know he's not with us anymore, but it is still kind of cringe, right? For people to post stuff like that. I'm like, wow, really? Is that what we're doing now? Are we going around and doing that? It was quite a deep dive.
The question is, Eric, I'm wondering why you're surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, I think, still.
Well, the thing is, I had really no faith in those people anyway, so I don't know how you could even be disappointed anyway.
I mean, I guess it's one thing if you want to bicker about like Tyler Hoechlin versus Henry Cavill, which I still don't get that either, but at least they're still around and they have an opportunity to fulfill whatever ambitions these people have for them. But
Space Fluff goes, "I'd love to hear all the edgy stuff Paige says before the after party." It's actually the other way around. Eric is the one that says the edgy stuff, and I sit here and I almost leave. There is potentially verbal arguments.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
every
it
after
happens.
party.
It happens. Spoiler alert: I did invite Ben but have not heard anything back from him. So there you go.
Well, did you invite the DC TV show?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes, I
so
did.
I'll wait and see if he comes in.
Yeah. Anyway, I invited him because I know that you're not really into Supergirl, and he's obviously.
I
still
love
doing his
Supergirl.
reviews.
I just haven't watched it the past like month, so
Okay.
that clearly shows my love and admiration for it. Really
yeah,
love
it's gonna be funny. But anyway, so anybody ask about reviews, there's a reason why I haven't been focusing on them. And again, we'll talk about that at the end of the stream. It is edgy. It is extra edgy, actually. What else? Oh, DC Fandome. So DC Fandome is on the 16th, which is like what, 3 weeks away now? I think it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks away.
2.5. Less than 2.5.
Okay.
I think it's 17 or 16 days away.
Yeah. So I'm going to be live for DC Fandome pretty much through the entire thing.
Live on Eric.
So,
Reloaded.
and I don't know, Paige will probably be here, and I'll have some.
Wait, well, how
people
long are you going to
join me or
stream
whatever.
for?
Just for the TV stuff, whatever section.
Well, I guess
that is.
you won't know until you do the schedule, I guess.
Yeah.
The schedule comes out, which I guess would be a week before, like they did last time.
Right. We'll be streaming primarily.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it being on one day.
What's your concern about for the trending thing for that reason?
No, just the fact it's all on one day again. Like, didn't they not learn it last year? You have an entire weekend.
Yeah.
You have an entire weekend. I feel like, I don't want to say an ant-sized brain, but at least ant-sized ambitions were put towards organizing that. Why would you not have it over 2 or 2.5 days? Like the Friday evening American time, then 8 hours of, or like 6 hours of Saturday, 4 hours of Sunday or something. I know why it's all on one day again. Let's see if it works. I mean,
real conventions function that way. Like they usually
but it allows people. It allows to spread out the content and the trending. So you can have, if you have 3 big things, you have your 3 biggest things. One's on Friday, one's on Saturday, one's on Sunday. They get to own that day. Right. But last year it was all a mess because it was like you had all these things fighting. Eventually, the Batman won, but you had all these things fighting. And like things would only trend for like an hour. Like everyone stopped talking after the Black Adam thing after like 30 minutes, and no one mentioned it again until. Well, I don't think anyone's mentioned it again since then, because it all sort of overlapped with each other and canceled each other out. And it's not like Comic-Con where it's even with Comic-Con they spread it out. So yeah, I don't know. Let's wait and see what they do.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see how that's going to play out, because one of the things that annoyed me was when they did that, like, what was it, like a 3-week break between the TV and the movies, or whatever.
It wasn't meant to be like that, but I think they realized last time they had so much. But isn't there even more this year?
There is, because there's more stuff that's been pushed back, so they're gonna have.
And also, COVID wasn't stopping filming because the whole issue last year is that things got delayed from filming because of COVID. So they were just talking, really. They weren't showing anything. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to be like. It'll be interesting.
But the thing is, I think it benefited the shows to be separate from the movies because they actually had some trending on that weekend as well. But I don't see that.
Yeah, but the issue was that they showed all the ones people really cared about. They showed like edited down panels in the main weekend.
That's true.
So the Flash TV show Titans.
That was weird.
And some of the other ones, like the stuff that actually had stuff to show or talk about, they already showed that the week before. So when the TV stuff came around, it was really like, if you really just wanted some intricate stuff, nothing was overly revealed in that second weekend. So it was a bit of a dud the second week.
So if anybody wants to come watch it with us while we watch, we're going to be live that night for the stream. So, and I'm actually going to take off like my regular job so I can work.
Whoa, that was going another direction.
What?
And he said, I'm going to take off. And then I thought, let's see what this goes.
No,
because I was going to mention, will there be surprise dance breaks?
Oh, there might be.
Saying it's an extended stream.
Yeah. If you guys don't remember last year, the stream got shut down because of that song Hallelujah from the Snyder Cut trailer. So, yeah, it's on the 16th. It's on the 16th. Somebody was asking about Star Wars Visions. We might talk about it on the Weekly Geekly because it's not a weekly release. It's all the episodes are available right now on Disney Plus. So we have to get through them all. So yeah, there's the Weekly Geekly was delayed this past week because Cyber was at an amusement park, and
could have gone live from the amusement park.
Well, I mean, you know,
On the roller coaster, drops the phone. Oh shit!
right. So that happened. So we delayed it because of that, and also because it would have been impossible for Omega to do it later. So it's like Omega could do it early, but Cyber couldn't, and then Cyber could do it later, and Omega couldn't. So it would have. There we go. That's where we're at. Yes. What if this week? We're not going to talk about it here, but what if was definitely very interesting. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the finale for that. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Stargirl. We'll do that first, and because I think that's the one that we're going to talk the most about.
Cheers,
So, spoilers for Stargirl. So, Summer
Stargirl,
School
man.
Chapter 8, and this episode was, from all the promo material, I thought it was going to be a primarily Rick episode, but it was pretty much a Beth episode with Rick stuff in it. Like, it was definitely a Rick Beth episode, but it wasn't just Rick. It was heavy on Beth.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, pretty much. So starting out, I will say that I think they did a pretty solid job at times with Solomon Grundy's VFX, but I think there was also times where it was not great. And
There was only one shot which I thought was really dodgy, but I think it's just because they're trying to make it fit into that scene, which was that foggy sunlight thing when I guess we're doing spoilers, when the Rebecca McKnighter's body is just laying there and like he has the blood in his hands. That was the only one where I went, oh, because that was the shot they used in the trailer, and it looked bad in the trailer, but it was exactly like that in the show.
Like they didn't finish it. That was it.
I'm assuming that's just what it was, and I think they found it hard because it was like that foggy sunlight thing. And I think if it was actually his normal CGI, which we'd seen before, it would have looked weird as well. So I think they tried to compensate it by making his it actually looked like the sunlight was going onto him.
Yeah.
But it looked CGI, which is not the good thing.
Yeah. And I would say there was a couple of times in the forest where when he first showed up that looked a little weird. I think it looked really good when he was sitting directly next to Rick on the log, and when they turned and looked at him, and in the fight scene at the end, I think it looked pretty solid. But that was at nighttime, and typically any wonky VFX can get covered up by by the shadows and the lighting and stuff like that. This is probably, in terms of VFX for the show, it's pretty clear that Solomon Grundy is the hardest thing they have to do for Stargirl.
Yeah, and the main thing is because he's humanoid.
Right. Because like if you think about it, Stripe is basically the same size as Solomon Grundy, but it's all mechanical.
And he moves like a robot. He doesn't move like a person or like what was a person.
Yeah, but I mean, like that always, like you're saying, it always looks good because he's not trying to look humanoid, whereas Solomon Grundy is. And so it's essentially trying to do the Incredible Hulk on a TV show budget. And I have to give them credit for that because that's super expensive. And I think they did a pretty good job. And this is why you don't get to see him very often. But otherwise, I thought that seeing him again was pretty cool. I wonder how much more he's going to play into the show because of how the episode ended. Because we did see that he considers Rick to be a friend.
I think it might be more. I'd be surprised. I'm not expecting him at the very least to show up again this season. I think it's more just leaving the open door where Grundy could potentially be an ally, but I don't know how Grundy really would factor into any sort of fight with Eclipso.
Right. Because it's all physical power, which I don't think is going to do much against Eclipso. Silhouetted Animator says Grundy skipped leg day. I mean, yeah. There we go. Team Forward with the $2 super chat. Did writers use anti-Beth comments in the script? Not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
Because I mean that was part of the episode, so I'm assuming it was in the script. Because
I know that the actress who played Beth helped write the episode.
Use anti-Beth comment. Team Forward, I don't truly understand what you mean with that question. I would assume if you're talking about was it part of the script from the beginning, then yeah, I would say it was.
Unless they're trying to say, how like Eclipso was trying to tap into, like, push Beth deeper into her fears, like sort of what people would say online about the character, used it in the script. That's the only thing I could. Yeah, use comments. That's what I assume. Yeah, use comments on social media.
Maybe, possibly. And this goes into Naruto's thing. Stargirl did social commentary way better than Supergirl. Paige and I talked about this on Discord. We were having a chat, and it goes to show that like all it takes is competence when it comes to writing a script for them to reach a better conclusion with it.
Well, not even that, just not making it stand out like a sore thumb and making it seem like you're doing it for the sake of doing that rather than try to actually incorporate into your story and, most importantly, progress a character or progress a show.
Yeah. It was way better
in multiple ways because it makes you even go. It makes you even look at Eclipso now and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, because the thing is with the story that we had on Supergirl recently from last week or whatever, that also focused on social commentary, which Supergirl always has an ism. There's some ism included in Supergirl, but last week particularly they did an episode about Kelly and dealing with racism and stuff like that. So this episode they had it included and it made sense, and it actually hit harder. Like the comments that Eclipso said to Beth hit harder than an entire episode where they would never really commit to what they were talking about. Like Supergirl is you never knew which thing we were supposed to be connecting with. Was it anti-alien? Was it anti-black? Was it what was it in the show? Was it anti-criminal? What was it that we were supposed to latch onto? Whereas it was very, very clear on Stargirl what they were doing. And it was so clear that when Eclipso said it the first time, I was like, wait a minute, was that about being a superhero? Or was that something about race? I caught it immediately.
But for context, he says like "you people" if you haven't watched the episode.
Right. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. And then the next section is where he talks about stereotypes. Like tells Beth, you people are supposed to be athletic and, some other horrible stuff. And then she calls him racist. And then that is the, that's where you're like, oh, okay, so that was what they intended. And so I gave them credit for that because I thought that was really smart. And then it goes even further when she's down in the vision, she's in the JSA bound the round table or whatever. And we see a lot of the classic JSA heroes. And he says wrong gender, wrong color, wrong, like he mentions like 3 different things. But either way, he did everything that allowed you to understand what they were trying to do when it comes to social conversation. And it made sense, and it showed Beth as a strong character because Beth had the opportunity to actually fight back against Eclipso in a way that didn't require her to use any magic, any powers, nothing physical. It literally was her just standing up for herself. And I thought that was brilliant, personally.
Yeah. Someone went Grundy is supposed to be like a zombie Hulk. It's actually the other way around. Grundy was made about like 15, 20 years before Hulk. So Hulk was a copy of Grundy. So I just thought I'd clarify that.
Well, not only that, but I don't think Grundy...
Shill.
Yeah, but I don't think Grundy physically... So I don't think Grundy physically looked like the Hulk in the beginning. He was just like a zombie, like a tall guy.
It's not too much of a surprise that Hulk was grey when he first was created.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Edgy Eric, Marvel vs. DC rap battle.
I see a couple things. Why was the old JSA such a boys' club? I mean, that's the point. Like, that's the point.
It was made in the 1940s,
right? And they're supposed to show that this is a progressive change to that particular stereotype or that particular situation with them. So that's that. Welcome to the point of the show. But yeah, that's what it is. Mercenary. No offense to you, but that's typically like that's exactly what they're doing with Stargirl.
But I know you weren't saying that. You and I just thought I'd try and trigger Eric. I think I did.
Wait, trigger me with what?
That Grundy came before Hulk, and you love Hulk.
I don't love,
but Hulk is a copy.
Hulk is one of the most confusing Marvel characters I think there is for me because I don't really understand. I understand that he's supposed to be like a Jekyll and Hyde character, but I don't see.
But that's changed over time, and it's not really that.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, that was initially what it was. It was like a play on Jekyll and Hyde. So, I see some people trying to talk about or defend the. I saw like 1 or 2 comments about Kelly and Supergirl. Clearly, this was a better take on that social commentary.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe that's even up for debate.
I mean, no offense to anyone that works over at Supergirl. I know they try their best sometimes, but just trying to do the right thing and having other people do it better than you do it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong and with the idea or the concept or the intention. It's about the execution. And I think that Stargirl just executed it better.
Well, can I ask you this, Eric? Did it follow up this week?
What?
The Supergirl stuff.
Did what do you mean?
Did the story from last week follow up in this episode?
No, it ended. It ended basically. There was like one conversation at the beginning that it was like turning a light switch on and off with the story. To be completely honest.
Well, just checking that the light bulb's working properly.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But anyway,
well, you can talk about it. I will be.
Yeah.
I'll have my midstream now.
So we don't know how the JSA are going to play into next week's episode. We're not totally sure. But we do know that we're going to see the pictures. There was pictures that came out. I think they were exclusives. Were they exclusive for Entertainment Weekly?
No, they're just the primary images, but Entertainment Weekly got them like a day before. That happens when it's a big episode. They always get it for like finales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
so I'm really excited about that because it looks to me, the only weird thing about it is that John Wesley Shipp is playing like obviously the older Jay Garrick, the one who's actually the age he would be, whereas the rest of the JSA are still their younger selves. So even if it's a flashback episode, he's still going to look older.
I know, but you also got to remember, like Pat's looked the same for since the 50s or 40s. Like that picture of him with like that with the Star Spangled Kid.
Oh, I know, but I'm trying to figure out: is there a reason? Is it just the comic book aspect of it, or is there actually?
I think it's just yeah. I don't know. The thing is that there is still the storyline in the comics where the Justice Society got trapped through time. That would explain how they end up in the modern day.
Right.
They could do that if they really wanted to explain it. But the thing is that most of them are not there anymore. So I don't know if there's necessarily a need to do that. Mm-hmm. But it could explain Pat. It could explain Sylvester Pemberton. It could explain all of them. And then, because it was only 10 or 11 years ago now that night happened. I'm very curious to see whether they explain what happened. What do you call it with all the JSA members, where they actually say whether some actually survived that night or if they actually did all die that night. And there's any sort of, but it is flashback, so it is hard to tell whether they'll touch upon that or not. I'm just very curious to see if there's anything that's said in the episode that relates back to the Flash, like with specifically Jay Garrick, where there's a mention of like,
because right now we're still not sure how they're going to connect the shows. Like, how is this going to be?
Yeah, because I've seen people saying, "Oh, but he was on Earth 3," but it's like, yeah, that was pre-Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like Supergirl's been on Earth Prime, Superman, all these people now all been on Black Lightning are on Earth Prime. So, and I don't think post-Crisis he said, "Oh yeah, I'm from Earth 3." Like we're led to believe he's been on Earth Prime this entire time,
right?
So we don't know this history, which could be revealed,
right?
And we know he's in Armageddon, so maybe they mention it there or something like that.
Do you think that he originated on this Earth?
I'd like to think so, just because it's the JSA Earth. We know it's the JSA Earth, and Jay Garrick is JSA. So I'd like to think they change that up. And also, and you got to remember, like, I think if in Flash season 2, like, they were going in that route because he was like Jay Garrick is from Earth 2, and they tried to play that like the bait and switch where Jay Garrick wasn't Jay Garrick, it was actually Hunter Zolomon. The real Jay Garrick was locked up, but they'd used Earth 2 already, and they couldn't like have it that Jay Garrick originated from Earth 2 at that point because everyone wanted to know what he looked like. So Hunter Zolomon couldn't just take that persona, so we had to take it from another Earth.
Right.
So that's why from Earth 3, and it still works that way. But when you tie it into this JSA thing, I think I just like it if we can just originate him from Earth 2.
Makes sense. Is Jay Garrick dead or alive? Are you talking about on Stargirl's Earth? Because we don't know. That's the thing. We have to figure it out. He's obviously still around on Earth Prime.
Well, we're being led to believe this is the exact same it's not like it's not the same actor and the same thing. It's like the exact same iteration.
Yeah, that's what I'm
version.
saying. I'm thinking that it is, but we still don't know. We don't even know chronologically where this is in the timeline.
And even though, like, we know, like, that night, like, Our Man didn't die. Like, Our Man left.
right. Yeah.
So, and apparently Starman didn't die either.
Yeah.
Apparently Starman came back to life.
I want to see more of Sylvester Last. We saw his episode 1 in the diner. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know, but I got a feeling we're gonna get something big.
There was an interview with Jeff Johns, and he said, or like there was a thing that included like a part of an interview or something, and he's meant to be in like more of this back half of the season. So we know he's obviously was in this week's episode.
Well, you said Jeff Johns, you trying to trigger people or what?
Well, if anyone's really soft and wants to get triggered, then fair enough. But yeah. So Jeff Johns was saying that Jeff Johns it was Jeff Johns that said it that he's in like I don't know if he's in like every episode, but I think we get the ones in the flashback, obviously this week that we just had in this upcoming week, and then this modern day version because I think some of the actors said that they worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think specifically the girl that plays Yolanda, Yvette Monreal, said she worked with John McHale.
Okay.
So he obviously shows up in Blue Valley.
Yeah. Lone Wolf says Jay Garrick episode next week. It looks like Icicle Jr. episode next. It is the same. It's the same episode. Whatever's
it's gonna be a mental episode because it looks like there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. I'm super excited for next week. So we also got moments with Beth and her parents, which we got a fake out in the middle with Eclipso. Did you think that was real at all, and maybe she was just seeing things, or did you think that was a complete?
Wait, say that again.
The stuff with Beth and her parents that happened in the middle.
Well, that's the thing. I was still wondering. I was like, I didn't know what was real, what was fake, and it's going to continue this week. I still don't. Like, I looked at the trailer and I'm like, I have no idea if any of this is real or any of it's fake or it's a mixture. And I think that's going to be one of the things that going into this back half or these last handful of episodes is that they're going to keep us second guessing because they might have characters doing something that is possible for them to do, but it still seems like it's a big stretch for them to actually do it.
Right.
And it makes you wonder when Sylvester Pemberton comes into town, whether they think he's a fake or not.
Right.
Because imagine Pat sees Sylvester come in and he's like, well, what the hell? Are you actually here? Because you're meant to be dead.
Yeah. And I think, have we ever had another show try to do this kind of fake out like this? Because this seems really substantial and it's done really well on Stargirl. I don't know if any of the other versions.
I don't know, nothing in the same genre at the very least, because it'd have to be, I guess the closest you could get to is maybe Flash season 2 when they did the doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
But anything like, you have to be getting into like some sort of like horror stuff, I think. I'm not too sure.
I was actually thinking of the Flash season 2 because I was remembering how they faked out a lot of stuff, but nothing at this level. This is like this whole episode, even the stuff with Rick, I didn't know what was really happening and what wasn't really happening. And that was
because I legitimately thought he was fighting Grundy that entire time.
Yeah.
Until Paddle Corney, whoever it was, said, that's not Grundy. I'm like, oh, it's his uncle.
Right. Which was great, by the way. Another great fake
out. Yeah. I don't think anyone would have thought that was actually happening. I'm pretty sure we all thought he was fighting Grundy.
So I have to say, we're going to talk about the Rick stuff now, but I want to say that between the two of them, I think Angelica, who plays Beth, carried this episode. Honestly, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was
that's the thing. I think it was definitely Beth's biggest episode, and it went because everyone's been going like, and I think even like Angelica, who plays Beth, would be like, yeah, obviously Beth's not that useful in a fight, and I've been waiting until they bring in the Doctor, because if you don't know, like Dr. Midnight has little gadgets and gizmos that he uses to actually be like to take part in fights,
because he's not like he doesn't have superpowers, so he has to use gadgets.
So and obviously like the fact in the show, like even the goggles are OP now, that she can't be affected by Eclipso if she wears them. Like, give me a pair, because geez, I'm not saying that kid anymore. Give me a pair of those goggles. And also, I wonder now that she's officially become Dr. Midnight, whether that communication with the real one in the Shadowlands, that they're able to connect more, maybe.
Right.
Now, because it seemed like the communication, it wasn't getting that staticky once.
Right.
Which seems weird because it's tech, so it didn't really matter too much on like whether she fully adopts that mantle or not. But it just seems like that connection was a bit stronger once, like, I guess she'd fully adopted the role.
Yeah. Because guys, you have to like the crazy thing was, I don't think a lot of people didn't really get this, but at the end of the episode, when she confirms that she is the new Dr. Midnight, it actually lists it in the goggles. Like she's
in the
listed
database.
as she's the next Dr. Midnight. So now it's official.
Yeah, the goggles were already OP, but now they're like super OP because now she can't be affected by this thing that is like terrorizing the town.
Right.
But
And
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, like, I saw people saying like the racism was awkward and it was meant to be awkward.
Yeah, that was the point.
That was the whole point.
Here's the thing. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, but you're also supposed to feel like it's telling you a story.
Yeah.
I said this in conjunction with Supergirl. As long as you feel like you're along for the ride and you're not being preached to, you are invested in that story. The minute it feels like you're being preached down to and you're being spoken to like a child, you disconnect from it. That's the difference in the two episodes. Stargirl included it in the story, so it felt like you were watching the story and you were a passenger with the characters in the story. Supergirls did not do that. And I know a lot of people feel differently, and that's fine. But if you look at the way the two shows were written, it's clear that Stargirl was written in a way that they wanted you to be on the journey with the character, and Supergirl was written to use buzzwords.
You wanted to be as shocked by the racism as Beth was.
Right. You don't want to come into the episode expecting it, which is what we knew we were doing.
You want to come, and you know what? That's probably why they advertised the episode as Rick. Because we went in thinking it was Rick. I think in the synopsis say like Beth faces Eclipso, and sure, the previous episode sets up that Eclipso has his targets or eyes set on Beth.
Right.
But you go into the episode thinking it's going to be Grundy versus Rick, but it surprises you, and like obviously not a shock. Twitter obviously misunderstood the episode. I mean, hello, water's wet. Jesus Christ! But the whole point of the thing was that what's Eclipso, Eric? What's he the embodiment of?
Eclipso?
Yeah, he's the embodiment of.
He's evil. He's just pure evil.
And
yeah.
What's racism?
Evil. That's the
Evil.
point.
Yeah.
Connect the dots. Connect ... Oh, that's this. Like everything he does is targeting people's like anything you're insecure about or anything that is awful in your life. That's what he's targeting. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's targeting Beth's parents. He's targeting her insecurities about being on the team. He's targeting her insecurities about her friends around her. He's targeting her insecurities about her race. All those things that could get under your skin, that's what he's targeting. It would have felt more disingenuous to me if they would have skated around it like Supergirl does sometimes. They're like, we introduced this storyline about race and then we're just going to tiptoe through it. We're not going to actually do anything about it. And then when they finally do something about it, instead of actually telling you a story, they pull buzzwords from the internet and toss them out. None of that was used here. Everything that was used in this story with Eclipso to prove that he's an evil character, this is why. We're not supposed to like him. You're not supposed to like the character. I mean, you're not even supposed to sympathize with him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him in episode 1 kill a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, Naruto.
So
I don't know how 10-year-old girl to Paige's video. When I saw the dress, I kind of connected the dots. But initially I was like, is that just a coincidence? I didn't realize it was going to be until she came out of the water. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I didn't know for sure. I just thought it was a coincidence there. But you said you pretty much picked up on it right away, right?
Well, because I saw the yellow dress. And the thing is, because I've done videos and I've used that image from episode 1 a few times. We're talking about Eclipso. So I was like, oh, well, that's Rebecca McNider. And also, she just looked like even like the hair and stuff. It was like she was from like a horse farm, like in the present day. I'm like, who's like what little girls running around in that type of get up on a horse farm in Blue Valley where the weather's been terrible. You know?
So Avier says it was my favorite episode in terms of scariness. Well, I have to say, I don't know who's scarier, baby Bruce or little boy Bruce or Eclipso. They're both.
I think it's a mix, but I must say there was like 3 jump scares in this episode. And I mean, if I was watching in a dark room, one of them made me go, the one that made me go, oh my, I went, oh, what happened was when Eclipso finally comes, he turns from the young Bruce into Eclipso, but he comes out and he goes, ah, like he actually makes that noise. He goes like,
yeah.
That one got me just because of the actually made the noise. But then also, and I was expecting it, and it still got me. But then I was expecting Rebecca United, the dead little girl, to open her eyes. I knew that was coming, so I didn't really get scared. But I thought if someone wasn't like paying 100% attention, because I had like I think I had like a noise thing,
right?
So I was like, that could have got them. I think there was one more little jump scare thing.
Well, I also think it was the one thing that kind of got me is when Beth turned around in the house and he was on the stairs. I was like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, you don't live here. What are you doing here? He's like, well, you don't either. And I'm like, he got you kind of because
got him
because you walked into their house. But I thought it was weird too, because when she walked in and nobody was there, I'm like, is this a dream or a vision or what is this?
Well, yeah, because I was wondering, surely Barbara is home or Mike's home, like or something like that. But I thought, I don't know, maybe they're at the diner or something like that. But obviously, everything was fake. Not even when she met with her parents, that was real,
right?
Which was insane. I thought at least that was real because it also started off real and then went weird, and her parents reacted as well. It's almost, so they fooled you. Like, that made me think everything was real, but everything was fake.
But see, that's why I'm saying it's done so well on Stargirl, excuse me, and opposed to other shows, because it doesn't feel like we're being shown something. It feels like we're in the story with the characters.
You're in the moment.
Right. So the stuff that the characters are experiencing, we're experiencing it with them, which I think is crazy. Silhouette Animator says, I think Eclipso staged the divorce thing. I don't know about that.
No, because that was still going on before he made his way out. It's like with the Yolanda stuff, like that was actually going on with Yolanda. Like she was still experiencing those issues that she was having, like the head pains, before Eclipso came out.
Yeah.
So I think Eclipso is heightening everything, obviously. But there
was
again,
Eclipso evil, PTSD, trauma, or whatever, bad, evil, bad. Let's make it worse. That's what Eclipso does. That's how he works.
Well, he just taps into everything that's anything that could be negative. He will tap into. He'll try and tap into anything negative. So you could be perfect. Everything in your life is going perfect. Parents are happy. Everything's going well in your family. You could be at acing school. All of a sudden, you get a pimple. Eclipso would nail down on that pimple. That pimple, he will be going hard in on, or even, imagine Eric. And he just, imagine the fear. So everything's going right in your life. Nothing bad, at least anything overly negative. And you get a pimple on the middle of your forehead, just like a fat, juicy one. Oof. And Eclipso nails down it. And imagine the fear he would put you through. He'd make you into a walking pimple. He would
make me go to high school with the worst pimple that I've ever had. That's what he would do, probably.
And everyone would call you DJ Pimple.
maybe. So Billy, you seem I'm going to address you one time on this, simply because you're putting a lot of passion into your comments here. It is preaching. There's a difference between writing a story that is a story and taking things from culture and just putting it on the show. A great example with Supergirl that was preachy and not storytelling, and this is very obvious to me, was at the end of the episode when Kelly is getting ready to talk to Alex. You see her in a statement shirt. You see books and literature laying around about the subject matter. There's a lot of visual cues that were there just to be there and be present in the scene. That is not storytelling. That is the exact opposite of that. And they did that on purpose. Whereas with Stargirl, we got to experience the feeling that Beth was having with Eclipso because it was unexpected and it was awful. And we were there with her in that moment. Whereas with Kelly, I never once in that entire episode felt like I was ever there. I felt like they were reading off a teleprompter. I felt like the script was written with buzzwords in place. There was never a moment in that episode of Supergirl where I felt like I was able to connect with Kelly, except for the conversation that she actually had with Supergirl. Outside of that, nothing in that episode felt like it resonated with me. It was very, very poorly written or structured, or something just didn't work in that episode. In Stargirl, it did, because we never felt like they were talking at us. They were telling us a story. It's completely different. And it's okay if you like Supergirl. If you like that, if you're fine with that, then that's great. But no one wants to be preached to or taught a lesson. Like one of your statements in there is you want to educate people, right? Or educating your audience. Nobody is turning into these shows to be educated. Nobody is. This isn't Saturday morning cartoons. Like this isn't like nobody is turning into these shows for that. I want to be entertained. And if there is a message in that entertainment, then that is absolutely great. But if I tune into a show to be entertained and I feel like it's just preaching to me for the whole 45 minutes that I'm watching it or an hour, I am literally just going to tune out. It's that simple. And that's why I'm so critical about that stuff. Because the intention behind it is wonderful. Supergirl has the best intentions with their storylines. They totally do. The execution of those is just not good.
Yeah. I have a feeling like from the episodes I've seen with Super, because I didn't watch last week's episode. From the episodes of Supergirl I've watched when they do tackle whether it's just issues in society, whatever you want to put it as, societal issues, it feels like everything's like a first draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like halfway there. They obviously have the right intentions, but it just feels like nothing's been screened, if that makes sense. So you haven't had someone go through and go, oh yeah, that's the right way to put it, or you have something that's like 75% of the way there in regards to how it should be presented, but it's still got a quarter margin of error there.
You feel like it's still it's like in the first creative, like they just pass it around for the first time and everyone's like, okay, go for it. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
So okay, so this is completely off topic, but Silhouette Animator says, which show is the worst education of social issues, Supergirl or Batwoman? Supergirl. I think Batwoman
actually does it fairly well.
Yes. I actually said, I don't remember which episode it was from last season, but there was one where they did cover social issues in this way, but I gave them credit for it because it was well done. Even I don't think I liked the episode as a whole, but I think the message was really good, and I think the writing in that department was good. Like on Batwoman, it feels,
but we must say it's very important to remember Batwoman is led by a black actress, and pretty much all the main cast now are people of color.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's Supergirl where it's a white lead with well, I guess it's not anymore, but I was gonna say like I guess previously it was a majority white cast.
Right.
But yeah, but like Batwoman, it feels more natural to the story because I've always said when you're watching a show, your POV is usually the main character.
Right.
Or your title character. So, but even then with Batwoman, it makes it sort of relate to Ryan in some way when they did it, because Batwoman doesn't do it every episode. Like Batwoman did like what? How many times is like what? I can only remember one episode specifically.
It was probably less than half.
I know there was that one episode when that kid was messing, and that, to be honest, that wasn't done amazingly. Once again, it sort of fell into that same issue of it felt like it was a first draft, and it felt like they were trying to ham in. Like that could have been something that went over 3 episodes. But I think the clear winner is.
But Black Lightning did it better. Batwoman does it better. Like you are spouting off shows that I totally think, as a viewer, someone who doesn't understand necessarily how people from marginalized groups in different whatever the message is for the week understand, shows like Black Lightning and Batwoman definitely to me make me feel like I'm actually learning something, but I'm not learning it at the expense of entertainment. Supergirl tries to do the same thing, but does it well.
Supergirl takes a handbrake on the Supergirl will take a handbrake on the entertainment. They'll pull the handbrake and go, hey, let's stop here. Sesame Street time, and then they'll go along with that.
Batwoman, when it comes to gay storylines, LGBTQ storylines, racism, it's always just better.
But guess who that relates to?
The main character.
The main character. There's your answer.
Yeah. So I'm totally like I said, I think I said that I understand like with Supergirl the intention. So I get what they're trying to do. I just didn't think it was very successful. And you talk about like people being before I move on, because we're going to talk about Rick here in a second. Before I move on, because we're still sort of in that Beth / storyline and whatnot. Tell me, what percentage of people that are still watching Supergirl don't already understand the issues they're talking about. Please, because if you're already watching Supergirl at this point, if you are someone that's invested in that show and it's the final season and you're watching it, please tell me why any of that information needs to educate the people that are actively watching Supergirl. If you're watching Supergirl, you're probably pro-diversity, you're pro-inclusivity, you're definitely about female empowerment. You're definitely, you are on the side of every issue that Supergirl has been promoting over the years. There's nothing at this point you're preaching to the choir. You are educating people that are already there. People aren't tuning into Supergirl by accident and going,
I tripped and fell over.
Oh my God,
no,
I'm watching Supergirl. What's this episode? Oh, it's oh man, I feel like this has taught me so much. I'm a changed person now. That's not happening. At this point, Supergirl should be telling us exciting stories about Supergirl, about those characters, not trying to give us some sort of pseudo-intellectual storyline that everyone is already well understood about. You know what I'm saying?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I mean, it's the truth. People that are watching it don't need that. Like, they could have told a Kelly empowerment story with her becoming the Guardian without ever making the script the way it was. It just... Anyway, if you love Supergirl, keep watching it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm saying that the writing just hasn't been great. So, nobody misunderstood. Billy, you okay, this is the last time I'm going to address you because you are really looking for the attention today. No one is... I'm not saying that I don't understand Kelly. I don't think anybody misunderstands her. That's the thing. It's hard to misunderstand what was going on in that episode because it was so freaking literal. Nobody misunderstands it. So there you go.
You know what's funny though? You just went on like a 10-minute rant about Supergirl and you haven't even jumped into, oh God.
And then he shows up.
Yeah, and I joined at the perfect opportunity. I don't think the timing could be better, young Benjamin.
I literally was listening on my phone as I was setting up. I was like, okay, 3, 2, 1, let's join.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely not angry. You guys, this is not angry.
No, if you want angry Eric, tune into the members only streams. He actually swears at the members.
Ooh.
No, I the only reason I talked about it is because I thought it was relevant. We're talking about the difference between the storyline that Beth was experiencing versus the one from Kelly. And I think Beth's storyline, for me, felt like a proper storyline that addressed social issues. Whereas I think in the Kelly episode, it could have been better. It wasn't the worst.
Right.
I just think it could have been better. So
yeah,
here we go.
Did you think it was forced? Was that your thing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like, okay, so going into this episode after that episode, I felt like that was a kind of standalone episode, it felt to me, because it was very like, okay, we're going all in on this, and like it's like shitting on everything that
it's all right. We're 48 minutes in.
The whole
they're not
Team
looking for
Supergirl.
words. They're not looking for bad words right now.
Yeah, like Team Supergirl was like, they looked terrible in that episode.
That was okay. So that was the other thing, is they did that story at the expense of every other character on the show.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a big mistake. I think they could have used the councilwoman. Totally direct your anger at her. Be mad at her. Treat her that way. Treat the people around her that way. But when you're doing it to Alex and John and Nia and Kara, it just felt weird. It like I said, and we will talk more about Supergirl in a minute because you've watched this week, right, Ben? Okay, we'll talk more about that in a minute. But the problem was that there was no second run on that script. They never went through it and said, maybe we should adjust this a little bit so it doesn't feel so odd. Because that episode of Supergirl felt like a one-off. It was almost like it was almost like a Enter Flash Time, and I always use that as like the episode that sort of felt like it was like its own little thing, because none of what Kelly was doing built up to that episode, and then this week
then it's gone away.
Over. Right.
We're back to Nixley.
Yes, exactly. All right. So Stargirl, though, let's talk about let's wrap this up and talk about the stuff with Yolanda and Rick. So because we already talked about that stuff in that. So no, Yolanda.
Oh,
Yep.
because of what happened with Rick this episode. I get you.
Yeah. So Yolanda basically retires as Wildcat. She
Hands
gives
in
the stuff back to
the cow.
there he goes. He comes in and then he leaves. Yolanda retires. She's not gone for good, right? I mean, she's
No.
gonna come back. So
I mean, Stargirl, it's making us second guess everything, so maybe she does leave. But the fact that she said that the actress said she did scenes with, stop educating the chat.
I don't.
You know
I don't
what?
see.
In
I don't
my
see.
life,
I don't
Eric
see
is
how
my
giving
favorite
my
teacher.
opinion is educating anybody. You don't have to listen.
Okay,
to
well, depending on what time it is, everyone say good morning, Mr. Reloaded. Today's lesson will be on. I don't know what's today's lesson. Oh, Billy is educating us.
I didn't read. I'm not reading anything else from Billy.
Billy.
Let him type away. But you're saying it making a second guess everything, Yolanda?
Yeah,
is?
just so who knows? Like, but the thing is, the fact that the actress who plays Yolanda said, what do you call it? That she did scenes with Joel McHale makes me think maybe he brings her back into it or something like that. But the thing is that even like Shaquem's meant to be in this season. Like Shaquem's meant to like, so I think there's still a lot of stuff going on. Like, well, I guess we're only just past the halfway point. We've still got 7 episodes to go. So we've still got a lot of this season to go. So I'm just curious to see how long we don't have both Yolanda and then also what happened with Rick. Like, I know how they solved that specifically.
So we have that. The staff is still screwed up. Also, I want to point out, I thought it was weird.
God.
What?
Oh, there's another thing in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, unless I'm totally missing it.
It's from Space Fluff.
Oh, I see it. Never mind. I'm not putting that up on the screen. so, like Courtney was running around with the staff and not wearing her costume. Did you notice that?
So say that again.
Courtney was running around in public with the staff and not wearing her costume.
Well, it was in the woods, wasn't it?
No, but it was also out in the city when they went to Rick's house and everything.
Yeah, Rick's house isn't in the city. It's like on the outskirts. It's like a farm.
But there still could be people out there. It was 4th of July in the episode. There could have been people everywhere. We don't know.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's. I mean, I think I've seen them. They ran down the street with a lantern in episode 2.
I know. But I'm just saying it just seemed a little weird to me.
I think the staff, it's just a staff. It's not even lit up. It's just like a piece of metal at this point. Some people might think it's like a pole vault or something.
But it's still the staff. It's
Eric,
it's Cosmo. It's Cosmo. That's the new name of the staff.
If you can walk down the street with a pink beard and people don't go, "Hey Eric, what's going on?" Then I think the staff is fine.
It's Cosmo. Look, oh my God.
By the way, hold on.
What if Cameron saw it? See? What if Cameron saw it?
What? So Cameron's hanging out at Rick's house.
He might be.
Just what's doing, Rick? Never talked to you before, never hung out before. You gave me a dirty when you drove past in the car earlier, but I was decided to hang out at your house. Not even that, he'd be hanging out with his uncle.
But the Rick stuff was also interesting. So Cameron, who plays, it's so confusing because there's so many characters who, like, their real name is the name of some character on the show. Cameron is the actor who plays Rick, not Cameron, the character on the show.
Yeah.
Cameron, the actor, plays Rick. I think he was having yeah, go ahead.
And the actress that plays Yolanda, her name's Yvette.
Right.
So it's like two Y starting
just
names.
stealing the actors' names.
Yeah, it's just like on Superman and Lois. Jordan is Jonathan.
Yeah,
his
it's so
real name is
confusing.
Jordan. So, but I think he was doing his best of job he could, talking to like nothing. I felt like he was struggling a little bit in the scenes with Solomon because it's essentially you're acting to no one.
Well, it's almost doing like a monologue, but with like a ridiculous amount of emotion, as if you're meant to be reacting to something.
Yeah. So Ben, you've been on sets and you've seen stuff where people have had to act to basically nothing or things like that and whatnot. Some people do a really good job with it because they can just be in the moment. And I think some people have a harder time with it, right? Isn't it a struggle sometimes? How did you feel about this episode? Did you think that he was good in those scenes or not? Because
I haven't watched it.
So he hasn't watched it.
Oh,
I'm
I
still
knew he
confused.
hadn't watched it because he hasn't watched it. He's only on episode like 1 or 2 or
okay,
something.
so outside of
Those
that,
are fine.
will you say, do you agree that sometimes you can tell when an actor is not able to
Oh,
act
yeah,
to like a
for
to
sure.
like a head on a stick or something, whatever it is
Yeah,
that they're
like normally
using?
they use like a tennis ball on a stick on like a stand, and it's funny. But yeah,
for
you can
perspective
tell.
because they want you to talk to wherever that face is going to be or whatnot.
Yeah, but you can tell like if they're faking interaction or something, if it's like they're both in the shot, or if they're trying to, like you said, give emotion to something that's standing still and it's not responding to you. It's a bit tricky. So yeah, definitely there's always a problem. But again, I'm getting around to watching it.
Yeah.
So
By the
far.
way, Ben, there's been a question that's been going around in the chat, and they want to know if you know Billy from the chat.
Billy.
Yeah. Eric's been having some confrontations with Billy this stream, and there's been people saying that you, aka Ben, know Billy.
Well, I can officially confirm I know Billy.
Oh, is this Judy or Judy's as the flower pot men?
What?
What?
No one watched Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. Okay, dead joke. Move on. Okay, I thought we were going to be tapped into
that's
popular
a bit
culture.
dry.
Hold on, is this an
Okay.
Australian show? I need to check. I'm pretty sure it's British. Bill and Ben, flower pot men. Bill
Yeah, well,
and
the
Ben,
thing is,
flower pot men.
people-
It's a BBC show. It's British. You should know it, Ben.
Ben doesn't know it. Ben
Oh
doesn't know
my
it.
god! Can you tap into your culture?
So
I mean, you go on about Harry Potter. To be fair, the first episode was aired in 1952, but it kept going because I watched it when I was a kid. Even got the song Bill.
Okay,
and
I
Ben,
think
the
I've seen it,
flower pot
but
man.
I don't remember.
It was a swing and a miss indeed, but you know what?
Swing and a miss, yeah.
I'm going to blame it on all you uncultured people. Seriously,
well,
tap
yeah,
into British culture, BBC, Bill and
There we
Ben,
go.
Flower Pot Man.
So we'll talk about this here. It goes, Cal with 1-9 super chat. How is Rick going to fix the hourglass? So we do see that Rick shatters it at the end after he finds out that he's not beating up Solomon Grundy. He's actually beating up his uncle. We had some theories on that. I don't think they're going to go the route of the comics where it's an actual like pill that he has to take, because I think that would be
pill popping teenagers.
Yeah.
It was on the CW.
Was there another version of him?
Well, I think they do that on Riverdale. I think they're popping pills on Riverdale. So.
Wasn't there another
Stargirl
version of
is
Our Man that was not like that?
But it was with the hourglass. It was like a mechanical hourglass, I'm pretty sure, which they did. They sort of like, because the Rex Tyler was the one that took the pills.
Mhm.
So his dad had the hourglass. So they sort of
His dad was
popping pills
pills.
on a Saturday night. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're clearly going to avoid the pill popping thing, but they can't make it that like he just gets the powers within him, because it still needs to be an external thing that limits his powers to an hour.
Mhm.
Hence the name Hour Man. So they still, I'd assume that they're just going to fix the hourglass. But it might be done in a more convenient manner where it isn't this thing just hanging around his neck.
Mhm.
So it might be, I think Eric suggested a watch or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like
But-
another piece of technology that isn't so obvious.
Or it could be something ingrained on his suit or something like that. But yeah, it'd be interesting. To see
Or
what they
he
do.
could use a bong to take a hit and then just
Eric, what are you trying to do? It's like that character on Legends you always talk about. He
could have a vape. He could have a vape. Could you imagine?
No, that wouldn't work good because the CW does those
Could you
anti-vape.
imagine? I know, but
They
could
do
you
the
imagine if he like showed up and he's like, time to use my powers, and then just a big cloud of smoke?
I
and
don't
then
know.
he
He's got
becomes
they do the anti-vape ads on the CW, so I don't know how well that would go. I think they could pretty much do any
Oh
everything
my
else.
gosh, I could imagine that would crack me up if he showed up and just took a hit of a vape and then like, I mean, yeah, because that's the funny thing is Barad.
Well,
Yeah,
like they do the anti-vaping
Well,
stuff, and then they
look,
have like weed stuff on. Legends
as
of
long as he's
Tomorrow,
not
so-
heating something up on a spoon and bringing out a syringe, I think
Oh
we're all
no,
good.
let's not even go there. But if he showed up and all of a sudden Our Man's powers came from like a vape, that would be the funniest thing. That would be the funniest thing ever. Now, Introverted Unicorn points this out. We did talk about this. Doesn't he have his dad's book with the formula? Yes, he does. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
assuming they will find out.
But it's just like what happens there. Like what do they make from that formula? Is it the hourglass?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a hashtag? You know,
Mm-hmm.
popping pills. Yeah.
As far as his uncle, and because somebody said, do you think Rick will go to jail for almost burning his uncle if somehow he'll be free? I don't think he's going to stay in jail. I think something's going to happen.
What if Grundy breaks him out?
I think that's a possibility because we do see that Grundy's like considers him a friend or whatever.
Grundy
by the end of the
break
episode. So, but yeah, I mean, so this episode was a pretty strong episode of Stargirl. I quite enjoyed it. I actually thought that other than my critiques about the VFX here and there, and a little bit of the acting that Cameron had to do with the VFX with the fake Grundy or whatever, I thought it was an excellent episode. Has there been a bad episode of Stargirl this season? I don't think there has been, right? I mean, they've all been pretty solid.
No, they've all been like 7.5s above. They've all been like good to great.
Yeah. I'm curious what the chat thinks though. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode of Stargirl? So people are talking about inhaling the dust. Maybe they'll make the dust into a vape, and then he will be vaping our man. He vapes once a day for an hour. Oh gosh. There we go. Look at that. Haters gonna hate.
Hold on, I've got my Harry Potter version of that. Give me 2 seconds. Where is my phone? Oh, I put my phone in my cup holder. Bill and Ben, the flower pot man.
Look, he's trying to compare it. Ivan Ooze.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan Ooze. I think I saw someone say that on Twitter. Like I think I saw like that.
I think that's where Ben got it from, since he slid it to a photo directly of Eclipso. I'm assuming Ben stealing content once again. Who would have thought? Live on the after party,
live on Eric's screen.
Oh my gosh.
I need to ask. What other TV shows have you been watching, or what other content? We'll say content have you been watching this past week? Both Eric and young Benjamin.
Ben's probably been busy, right? Ben's been too busy.
Ben's been working, from what I know.
My last year of uni started this week, so pretty busy. But I did watch Sex Education.
I watched that as well. I just finished it last night.
I've not watched it.
So funny, so good.
I watched.
It's weird though. It's weird though, because I have to ask this because I went to England on a rugby tour when I was like 16. So I sort of like somewhat know
flex
because we went to English high schools or English and Scottish high schools, and none of them look like that. And I have to ask, do they try and put like an American twist on the British high school in that show? Because that's what it feels like when I watch it. It's like as if they took an American high school and put it in England. Or I think it's in Wales. The show.
No, it's in Wales. No, that's basically what it is. It's like there's so many things that is totally English, like English schools, like the uniform and all the strict rules in this season.
Well, that's like Australian school. That's like Australian school as well. Yeah,
it's the same here. It's super strict like that, and it's very sexist. But then you're right, like it's very Americanized in the TV show. Like they would never say campus here as well. They say campus on the TV show. They'd be like, oh, just in the school. That's what they would say in England. Right. Campus is, you say that in university when you live.
Well, we say that in Australia if you have a bigger school and you have like two different, like the high school I went to, you had the main campus and there was like a junior campus, and then there was a campus that was slightly behind another road. But I went to a bigger school, so that like we use campus because they actually separated the school.
Yeah.
But I was watching it and I was like, this just feels like an American. They just shoved an American school in England.
Yeah,
but Britain.
The way it works, like them all walking around and like the way the corridors look, with we do have lockers and stuff, but the corridors seem a bit more like an American high school. And
even like the Letterman jacket. So he wears like a Letterman jacket.
See, you would never have that in an English school.
Yeah, you don't have it in Australia either. So it feels very Americanized.
In England, it's all uniform unless you live by the seaside normally. And then maybe you have your own uniforms, but people just wear like jeans and stuff. So, yeah, the grouping up, I think, is more American. So it's like a weird mix, but it's English, especially in terms of its rules and the way people talk, I guess. So yeah, it's like a weird mix.
So, what else are you watching? Is that it? Is that the only thing you watched, Ben?
Scenes from a Marriage on HBO. It's really good.
My
Really
mum was
recommend
watching
it.
that.
It's incredible. I've seen all of it. I saw it at the Venice Film Festival. But then I've been rewatching.
Flex. That's a flex. That's a
Yeah,
flex.
that's a flex. Yeah, it's
I do want to watch Squid Games. I heard that was really good, but I haven't had a chance to watch that yet.
I haven't seen it.
I'm trying. That's on my next to watch. I've got. Well, I only finished Sex Education last night, so I'll probably watch Squid Game.
But
I've been what?
I've been rewatching. For the first time, I've been watching 2.5 Men. Do you know it? You know, it's very funny. It's very.
Go watch Big Bang Theory along with that, Ben, and see how we can come back to us.
I don't want to talk too much about this week's What If. I will say that What If has gotten crazy.
I didn't watch it.
This latest episode was one of the craziest episodes they've done. So I've watched Star Wars Visions, which I'm about 4 episodes into that. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's like a sort of anthology series from different animators and directors based in the Star Wars universe, which I thought is really good. Ted Lasso, I'm watching. Love Ted Lasso. The Morning Show, which is also really good. It's literally a show about a morning show. So
is your Apple TV subscription running out soon?
No. It's just like both of those are on right now, so I'm watching those. But...
No, I just thought I saw a meme that someone got a notification they had 2 weeks left on the Apple TV, so they binge watched all the Apple TV shows. Before
oh my gosh, no. I heard there's a show with Jason Momoa on there that's really good, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's called C.
C. Yeah,
it's called because he's blind. So,
but it's like a dystopian future series or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone was telling me that it reminded them of the 100, like it's like CW level of like storytelling or whatever. But
yeah, I've seen the trailers, so it's just not for me. Like the only thing I've been like outside of finishing Sex Education, I just been watching. Actually, the second half of American Horror Story starts today, and it's about aliens. The finale for the vampires was last week.
Yeah,
so it's aliens now, and Neil McDonough's in it. He's one of the main characters. So Damien Dark's in it. I don't know what character he plays, but he plays some sort of government agent sort of thing. I don't know, but I'm interested to watch it. But I've been watching your mate Bill Clinton impeachment, Eric.
Impeachment.
He's just about to, where I'm up to now. They just about to expose him. R.I.P. Bill Clinton.
I really want to watch the new Netflix show Midnight Mass. Have you watched it yet?
I know what it is. It's by the same guy who did like the Hill Manor, whatever it is.
Hill
Bly Manor, whatever it is.
Hill House and Bly Manor are like some of my favorite shows ever. So.
I thought they were okay. I didn't finish Bly Manor or the second one or whatever it was. I couldn't be bothered.
Man.
Thank you for the super sticker, Cal. Appreciate it. I actually heard the second season of that was not like the first season, so I didn't bother watching it.
But that's why I dropped it. It changes into like a romance. It's like a romance sort of story. So
I've been watching Doom Patrol. I love the first 3 episodes of Doom Patrol. So good. Really enjoying that. I am caught up on Titans. People were asking about my Titans review. I've kind of slowed down because the last couple episodes I hadn't been too happy about, and so I'm like, do I want to sit on camera and like be upset for 10 minutes, or do I just not want to do it? That's really what it comes down to. And I've got a lot of other stuff going on my channel. Again, we're going to go over all of that here in a few and tell you guys how many projects I have, because my channel is shifting. By November, my channel is going to be very, very different from what it is right now.
It's pretty much so. If you've watched Geeks and Gamers,
no, it's not
pretty similar to that. That's why Eric is holding back. He's just gonna, he's got a takeover.
You got a taste of it today with Eric's edgy rant. So get ready for more.
None of that. I am gonna do something edgy, but not an edgy.
Well, when's this Eric Wallace interview coming out? Everyone's been waiting for it.
It's changed a little bit because I had trouble doing it the way I wanted to do it, so I've had to change it.
Wait, what? Did you actually interview him?
No, it's like a meme video.
It is. Trust me, it's worth the wait though. It's going to be really funny. It will definitely be done.
3 months.
So, well, because the thing is that I have to make sure that I'm doing it in a way that the people that made the live stream won't get mad. So, I'm trying to be like funny but not be offensive at the same time. So,
Is that
there
possible?
we go. Yeah, I don't know.
Is
Maybe
that possible in today's
Possibly.
society, Eric? To be funny without being
Possibly.
offensive?
Possibly. I don't. Who knows, or whatever.
You'll always offend someone, Eric. One person. Eric, I don't
know.
like what you said there.
Oh, what now? What was that? What did you say?
No, I think Ben coughed. It's all good.
Oh,
Didn't cough.
Eric Dice Clay. Really? Really? Is that what we're going with now? All right, so let's talk about Paige can take a 10-minute break.
I'm gonna go make some 2-minute noodles. I'll be back in a second. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I won't be back in a second. I'll be back in probably 3 minutes.
All right. We're gonna talk about Supergirl season 6, episode 13, which is the Gauntlet episode, which made me think of Infinity Gauntlet. I'm like, oh gosh, they've got the totems now. They're calling the episode the Gauntlet. I'm gonna throw up the spoilers here, so we have that. So you have watched Supergirl this week, correct?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Of course.
So one thing I will say is it's pretty clear that I think the rest of the season is going to be kind of leading from one episode into another. Like it feels like there's no more like completely bottle episodes from what I can tell.
Yeah.
There are elements in the episode that don't always mean anything, but the episodes themselves seem to connect back to back to back to back. Like it's all taking place pretty close together. Do you like that right now? Are you happy with that, or are you not happy? Because I happen to think it's more exciting that they connect directly at the end of each episode.
No, I agree. It's more exciting and it's much better than just having episodes on specific issues. You know, I had that problem a couple of episodes ago where it's like, okay, so for me, I like the Kelly episode, but it doesn't really work as a whole with the story. I don't think it's definitely separate. But the 2 episodes before that, I just didn't really like at all. Like it was very separate, and it was.
Which one was that? The one with Nia? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the one where the story only connects at the end when Nixley shows up on Earth.
Yes. Okay.
I think that's episode. Yeah, that's Nia's episode.
That was the Dreamweaver, episode 9, right after Welcome Back Kara, right? It was that one.
Yeah, so I like Welcome Back Kara. That was the one with the climate change monster.
Yeah, the second one was where
That was
Kelly
cool.
meets the alien boy and Nixley crashes one of Nia's dreams and asks her for help. Is that the one you're talking about? Okay.
And I think the episode after that.
Still I Rise, which is the one where Supergirl goes to the building to help them with the housing issue.
Yeah. That one.
Okay.
Anyway, so those didn't like obviously you had Nixley and we kind of figured that Nixley would be the main kind of villain, but they didn't really link into that until the end of that episode.
Right.
So I was like, not so sure. Like, they should link into it. And so I'm pleased, as you said, that we're connecting stories episode after episode after episode because it felt like they kind of went off track, similar to like what the Flash did with their interlude. Felt like a little bit of an interlude, maybe.
Yeah.
Between like trying to set up a new story now that Kara's back and they're fully going into this Nixley stuff. And I like Nixley, but I don't think she's good enough as a season villain. Do you think?
No. I'm very disappointed in her being the season villain. The reason why is because I don't really see her as a villain.
Yeah, she's not
like
really a villain.
She was wronged by her family, so she's got every reason to be mad about what happened. I mean, we're seeing now in this episode we got a little flashback to her and her brother and her father, and we get to see that, and I'm like, it even pushes further that she's not a villain. Like she's doing evil things, but she's not inherently an evil character.
Yeah.
Because the imps by nature are mischievous. They're characters that are playful. It reminds me, you probably won't get this reference at all, but it reminds me a lot of like the Q character from Star Trek, where he would show up and do like mischievous stuff. If anybody's watched Star Trek, you know what I'm talking about. So bad things happen because they don't understand the ramifications of what they're doing because they're so powerful.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, like in this sense, Nixley, they also haven't been consistent on what she wants either. Like it went from wanting revenge on Supergirl because of what happened in the Phantom Zone. Then it went to wanting revenge on her family. Then it went to looking for these totems. And then it went
Yeah,
to
where did
continue.
the totems come from? I
It
don't know.
just popped up. It just happened. Like there was no lead into it. It just happened. Like she never even really mentioned it, and then all of a sudden it became important. And like she wanted her magic back, so she got her magic back, and then she still wants to terrorize people. It's like it's a very uneven villain. Like I don't truly know if I should
What's her
feel.
intentions? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if are we going to like is she really the villain? Because I know Lex Luthor is going to come into play at a certain point. So
Yeah.
and Lex Luthor truly is a villain. Like he's an evil person. He knows he's evil.
And we know it.
Yeah, so I don't think she's a very strong season or series finale villain, to be completely honest. I would much rather have them pulled back a classic villain from an earlier season or done something that tied into all of the stuff that Kara's had to deal with, like all the
something
villains she
that's
had to face
big.
off against.
It feels very small. It feels smaller than something like, I don't know, what would you describe? It's like similar to maybe, or even less of a threat than Agent Liberty, you know, and he wasn't even like a huge threat or something. You know, she's a kind of Manchester Black level villain, you know.
So, well, my question is, if she wants the totems to go and get revenge on her family, then why is the team trying to stop her?
Yeah. Because the family's bad, right? So
yeah, shouldn't they be helping her, or at the very least just letting her get them?
Yeah. I don't know.
What is Nixley's issue with Team Supergirl? Like, why is she still mad at them? Because the only person she should really have an issue with, because Nia's the one that let her out.
Yeah. I think her issue is Team Supergirl are getting in the way, basically. They're interfering with.
I mean, I get that, but it seems like she had an issue with them before that.
Oh yeah, and that's because of what happened in Phantom Zone. So,
yeah,
it doesn't constitute, like you're saying, it doesn't constitute her becoming like a villain and like hating their guts or something.
Yeah, she's just not a very strong series finale villain, and I really hope that Lex comes in and sort of
saves
makes
the day,
it make a look. Well, do you think about it? Lex actually saved that season when he came in. That was what saved that season. Yeah. So Cody here with a $5 super chat, Team Eric member, goes, Kara's test made no sense whatsoever. How could she be vulnerable the night she outs herself? I didn't understand that whole process anyway, because getting into specifics of the courage aspect of the test, the way it reacted, the way people reacted to the magic also wasn't consistent to me. It was also a little weird. So just that whole process, I'm like, what? So what did you think of this? What did you think of her having to continuously do this over and over again and then figure out what it was? How did you feel about it? Because I'll be honest, I actually love seeing them go back to that first episode.
Oh, me too. Me too. Super nostalgic.
And you could also tell the cinematography and the way they filmed and the way the stuff looked back in that first season is way better than what it is now. And I'm like, her flying and stuff looked a lot better. But I did love seeing them go back to that. But outside of that, this did kind of annoy me a little bit.
It was I mean, it's very nostalgic to go back to the moment, and I love those scenes. I really did. I was very surprised at first when I went to in the bar. I was like, oh, it's just like reused footage. But then no, she was actually talking, and I was like, wow.
And her haircut was her old style haircut.
Yeah, and then they added an extra flying scene. Then when she was down on the ground, they replicated the wet hair and everything from that night, and it was very cool to watch. And you can tell that they were trying to replicate the way that they were filming back then, which is nice to see. Because you're right, like there is definitely a big downgrade. They don't put much effort into, especially for me, especially the Catco scenes. What they do basically, if you guys don't know, what they've done is it's all windows, and they've just put a bunch of lights outside, and they're blasting them in, and then the white lights are like, do you know when like a light is behind in a film and then it kind of seeps over? And they're not caring about that. They're not even basically just blasting a bunch of light, and so it's just like easy to shoot for them basically. And so anyway,
because they're trying to copy the light from Los Angeles, which is not the same in Vancouver. Basically.
Yeah, and the light in Los Angeles probably would be more yellowish, because everywhere is quite yellow outside, and it wouldn't be so whitey blue.
Right. There's almost a sepia type
Yeah.
effect that they have with their lighting.
Yeah.
But I did love the callback to that. So,
but yeah, in regards to the
yeah.
whole thing, it was cool. I liked it. I liked the way that Jean was reacting. I liked the way Alex reacted. I thought it was interesting.
I actually thought John was the funniest.
Yeah, it was super funny.
Like,
I
he was-
actually laughed
yeah,
like properly out loud. So I think they did a good job then. And Brainy's reveal was cool. I wasn't expecting that, although there was a few hints. But you're right. Like Supergirl's test actually was quite confusing. It didn't make much sense to me because I was thinking about it afterwards because I made all my notes and stuff before reviewing it. I was like, okay, so she's done this test like 3 times. She's gone through. She saved the person that she didn't save before. That should be courageous, right? But then it's revealed by Nixley and her completing her mission. It was to be courageous, to be vulnerable. So in the case of Supergirl, she was extremely vulnerable in this situation because it was the first time she was flying and using her powers.
Yeah.
So I have no idea why she didn't pass the test.
Yeah. I heard Pagey yawn up there. He's waking up.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So can we talk about the ridiculous nature of what the totem was?
What, the slingshot?
It was David's slingshot from David and Goliath.
They always with artifacts and like legends and stuff. They're always like, oh yeah, this like huge thing from the past, and
but it's not supposed to be just an Earth thing. That's the thing. These totems are supposed to be like galaxy totem. Because like if Kryptonians have information on these totems, why in the world would it be David's slingshot from David and Goliath in the Bible?
I don't know. It's just like a dumb thing that they put in. They were like, we're so smart.
I mean, if it were just Earth, if it was only supposed to be on Earth and it had nothing to do with anywhere else, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But they've tied in Krypton to it.
Like, I get that it's in symbols, but it would make more sense if it was like, okay, if it's all from Krypton, all this stuff, why isn't it in like asteroids or something? Like something that's fallen in.
Yeah. I mean, right. If they had crashed somewhere and somebody had them as like pieces of arts or something like that, I could understand. But this was like, oh, it's the totem of courage, and it just so happens that David was courageous and used it to defeat Goliath. I was just like,
yeah, I was a bit stupid.
Really? Gary's with 1 eye in super chat. Look, Gary's here, Ben. Are the Arrowverse shows getting delayed later than October? No, they are not. Matter of fact, Batwoman is right around the corner. It comes back in just a couple weeks. So,
and in fact, Flash is coming out in November, so it's after October.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. So it is. Maybe it is delayed.
Yeah.
So we had that, but then we get introduced to this really over the top Kryptonian witch.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Which, by the way, Kryptonians are weak to magic.
True.
But so how is there a Kryptonian witch
on Krypton though? Because they don't have powers.
Eric, it's very important to remember. Humans are pretty weak to extreme heat, but you see people walking on coals, so there is the potential that
true. That's not the same thing. I was under the impression that Kryptonians' weakness to magic was a cultural thing. Like I thought that it was something because they believed in science. And I thought that the idea of magic was something.
But then in the rain season, there was all the witches from Krypton. So
yeah, they were, but they were not like they weren't spiritual witches, right?
But I think the idea is
they were like science.
They're
witches.
Like an older subculture of Krypton from like the distant past.
But were they actual magic witches or were they just science witches?
No, like actual magic, dark, coven, rain witches.
I got the impression that they were using like Kryptonian stuff to do spells and things. I didn't think it was like nature magic or anything like that.
Really? Oh, I thought it was like actual.
I'll have to go back and look, but I was under the impression that they were calling themselves witches, but they weren't actually like, oh, bibbity bobbity boo type stuff. I didn't
Was
think
she
that was
one
what
of
they
the
were
witches
doing.
from Rain season, right?
Was she?
Let me check.
Because this woman was very over the top. It was almost
was.
camp. It was almost
It was
camp.
very camp. No, they were 3 younger witches. So this new witch.
Not mad at you, Gary. Always proud of you. We are
I think
always
Ben's a bit
enjoying
mad.
those.
I'm a little bit
Maybe he is.
mad,
Maybe he
Gary.
is.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure where this person's from, but I recognize her though.
I like the way.
Look, Laura says, wait, hold on, where is it at? The showrunner says the love totem will be the hardest. No, there's not a love totem, is there?
Yeah, there is.
Please
Look
don't
at the
tell me
board.
there's
Look at the
Yeah.
board.
How do you think that Barry appears in the finale?
The power
There
of
you
love.
go. There's your new clickbait video for the weekend, Ben. Flash
Thank you.
confirmed.
Hey, B. Allen Hart, how are you doing? The love totem, just what I love stories on the shows. Anyway, the witch was over the top, and then I didn't like her, but then when Brainy had her in like her
That was funny.
essence in him, that was absolutely hilarious. Because I couldn't tell, she went from like this Jamaican woman to like this person from Ireland to like her total her voice in Brainy kept changing, and I was like, what is going on here?
Well, like a different accent all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
because
the
one of the answers to a question was like, yeah, man. I'm like,
Yeah, man.
No, it's yeah, man.
yeah. I was like, wait a minute, what?
What was it? Was it like that? Was it like yeah, man?
Yeah, it was definitely like
yeah, man. I think he was trying to do like a German accent, be like,
yeah.
man.
She asked, "Are these his nipples?" Like they were just. It was pretty silly.
That
Like,
was funny.
will Supergirl's parents return? Which do you mean, like
Zor-El and
Well, one already did.
Laura.
I don't think we're gonna see them again in the season.
No, they're just on Argo, and they're gonna be like,
That's where Supergirl's going into the
So
season.
Silhouette Anime says, which we saw in this episode was Vita, one of Rain's worshippers in season 3.
worshippers. Oh, so no, was she a witch though? But the 3 main Rain witches were younger. I just looked up.
Were they? They were younger?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
They were like kind of middle age, and she's like an older kind of witch. So
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I agree with you though. Like she was very campy, she was very over the top. But then when she was in Brainy, it was very funny actually.
Can we explain? Yeah, go ahead, Paigey.
Would you take this witch or Aminette Black?
This witch.
This witch.
Yeah.
By far.
Well, she wasn't really in the episode that much. But I will say, when the totem infected the museum where everybody was, like all the people in that food court got infected with like the courage totem or whatever. Why was there a dragon?
They love their dragons. That's why the dragon is some sort of like iguana or like.
No, I got that part. But
it's so funny.
But what was the point of it? Like,
no, there's no point. It's just for the, for the courageousness of Jean. I think literally.
But they weren't actually on trial at that time.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was weird. And then also in that scene when Supergirl was talking to John, which by the way, I have to give it up. John was hilarious. I laughed at like everything that he did in this episode. But when Supergirl was talking to him, asking him to do something, I'm like, you're Supergirl. Like if the dragon is killing people, do something. Like stop telling John to do stuff. Actually do something. You're Supergirl. She's like, John, can you use your telepathy to stop the dragon? He's like, well, I'm glad you asked because you're always so amazing and awesome and courageous when you do things. And she's like, and the dragon is just blowing fire at people. And then Alex is over there trying to fight it. She's like, John, could you please do something? I can't believe you're standing here doing nothing with these people. He's like, and look at Alex being totally courageous over there, showing what she's got and everything. I'm like,
go, Alex.
I'm like, okay, so it's funny, but why is Supergirl standing there? Like she should have actually at least tried to fight the dragon at that point, but she wasn't because they were playing it up for the joke. And I thought it was just a bit too much for me in that moment. Also go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's 2 dragons in like 3 episodes.
And it's the same model. They just tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah, and this is the exact same one from a couple of seasons ago.
Yep.
I heard that they have.
Yeah, I think it's the one they already have. Which is
what would you rather have? The big dragon or the big cat?
The big dragon.
Big dragon. Yeah. No, actually the big cat.
Oh my God, I knew Ben was going to say that. Gary says, Ben, why are you mad at me? Paigey, are you? So that he wants to know.
Paige's just busy chock full of nuts.
Well, I'm pretty happy at the moment eating these noodles. They're pretty nice, chicken flavor.
Did you make them yourself, or was it from the shop?
They're 2-minute noodles.
Pot noodle.
What about you, Ben? Are you mad? Why are you mad at Gary?
There's a lot of intricacies to it, Gary. I will fully explain it with time. Just give me time, Gary. Okay.
Show up to his next live stream and he'll explain it to you then. I guess.
Yeah, or come back next week to the after party and maybe we'll get a full explanation.
Okay, so the other thing from that scene that got me, because that was really probably the biggest problem I had with the episode, was when they left after John did telepathy on the dragon or whatever. What happened to all the people that were there fighting? All the people were still fighting there, and they just went back to the watchtower, and there was no mention of them helping those people at all, because at that point they still didn't even know what was going on.
Also, with the magic totem, they just screwed up everyone's life. Like that lady, okay, she lost her job, yes,
right,
fine, but she punched her boss in the freaking face. Like,
and
are we not going to acknowledge that?
Right, and she almost destroyed the city.
Yeah,
like she basically because of the totem. But the thing is, when they left all those people fighting. Like all those people were still fighting. Like, what did they do to stop that?
And they can't. But also, they can't have evidence to show the police. Oh, it was magic. They're not going to believe that.
But it's even worse than that, Ben. Like when they leave and they supposedly leave the people fighting. Say, for example, they managed to stop it or whatever. They say they did. We go back a couple scenes later, and the lady who was fired was still working at the museum, working on that lightning device. Like nothing had ever happened.
I don't think she got fired. She didn't have the funding.
Well, either way, she was still there doing it, and she was still whammied by the magic.
Yeah.
So what happened between that scene and the scene with her there with the device? She punched the guy, and then she just goes back in and continues to work.
I guess so.
It was weird. Shaunik here says the telepathy wave hit everyone. It did, but they never cleared up on how those people were just okay. Like,
also, Supergirl wasn't affected, was she?
No.
And Nixley wasn't.
Right. But I think it's because they were holding the totems or whatever. By the way, also Supergirl using her heat vision just out of nowhere. It's like you've learned now that you don't do that to magical. You don't punch things with your heat vision that have magic elements to it. So
needs to chill with her heat vision.
Right. But outside of that, I think everybody was really good. I really enjoyed most of the acting in the episode. I think the special effects were fine. The other issue I had was at the end when they finally, accepted that the totems were going to come back together and they were going out to stop the lightning storm from happening. Which, by the way, the lightning storm, I thought the lady was going to get struck and become a speedster. At least that's what I was hoping. I was like,
yeah, I wish.
But she did.
Should have. Imagine there's like a bunch of speedsters in National City now.
Right.
Like the Flash's next door.
I will say that the fact that Kelly showed up, right, and she was blocking lightning bolts with a metal shield, blocking lightning bolts with a metal shield.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's. I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was like,
yeah, that was funny.
Whatever.
I remember watching it. It was literally like.
Oh yeah, and they never went back to Dreamer being in that deepest dream state she's ever been in. She just shows up and she's fine.
Oh yeah, but I guess that's just like that's why she was gone.
Yeah. So do you think Lena is the key to defeating Nixley? So so this is one thing I didn't touch on. I was actually annoyed at the beginning because when Lena showed up and she didn't tell them what was happening, I was like, didn't you get mad at Supergirl for not telling you the truth for 5 years? Like, you have to tell her. And so I was happy that by the end of the episode, they had the conversation.
They didn't wait like 2 episodes to do that.
Right. Because I would have felt like Kara would have been put in a position to go, well, weren't you mad at me? Like, you almost tried to kill me because you thought that I had lied to you about who I was or whatever. So do I think she's the key to defeating Nixley? I think they're leading up to that. Yes. I think that's definitely what they're leading up to. Didn't we already answer this? Supergirl parents were returning to season. Gary, I don't think we're going to see them again. We might see her dad again, like at the very end, but I don't think we're going to see like a big family reunion. If that's what you're hoping for, unfortunately. Rodney here with a 49 super chat. Who do you think will win in a fight to the death? CW, Batwoman, Kate. Wait, CW Batwoman. So Kate
Batwoman or
Batwoman or Arrow. Like
Arrow would smack.
Oliver Queen has had much more experience in fighting than Kate did. So what do you think, Paigey? Any thoughts on that?
A fight to the death. Green Arrow, just shoot an arrow in her head. She's died.
A kryptonite arrow, so to go right through the suit.
Well, she'd
Or
throw a
just in their
batarang
face, like
in his
through the
face.
mouth, out the back of the head, something like that, or exploding arrow.
Maybe. Let's see. They're setting it up like where Lena will be the. Yes, I think Lena is going to be the key. So I will say it's kind of sad to me though. One of the things I loved about Lena as a character was she had become a very powerful individual through her intelligence. Like it was just her sheer will of like working hard and being smart, and like all the flashbacks we saw of her were her having to face off against Lex in this family dynamic where she always had to prove that she was the smartest one or she was the best one. Making her a witch seems to me like it's one of those like chosen one storylines, and I hate chosen one storylines. I hate where someone is like, oh, you're powerful because it was meant to be.
Because your
Like,
mom. Because your
Yeah.
mama.
Yeah, I don't really like that part of it, but I'm not super against it, but I just don't think it's a very good way to wrap up Lena's storyline. So,
Yeah, I think it's cool she has powers. She's gonna be using magic, but overall as a whole, when you look at the whole show, really Lena is who she is because of her intelligence, like you said, and she's like the ultimate nemesis for Lex because she can actually rival him in intelligence, and so rather than giving her powers to defeat Lex at the end of the season and Nixley, like she could have done it through her mind, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so what I'm saying, everybody getting powers. Yeah, Supergirl right now has an issue where everyone is getting powers, but I think that's because they're just
and
gonna.
everyone's becoming a hero.
Yeah, but I think they're doing that primarily to lead up to this big, like, huge finale. Where, because we saw there's. Should we talk about the pictures that leaked out or whatever?
I'm pretty sure
So-
everyone's seen them.
So the pictures with Lena and like with all the debris on her and everything, I was always wondering like, what is she doing out there? She's just a human. She probably would have been killed by all that. We don't know that now because now she's magic. So
Yeah.
it's possible that's not going to happen. So who knows? Lone Wolf here, Team Eric member with the $2 super chat. Lena, major death for the series, a toe for the past. I don't know if she's going to die now because we know she has powers. So
Yeah.
it might be a fake out. She could be casting an illusion of herself to trick somebody she's fighting or something. We don't know. We have no idea.
Lex could die.
Could
but
be, yeah.
then it would be like a bit of a waste. Like he died
So
before.
I saw this story pop up on Twitter the other day. Lex getting a love interest with Nixley or whatever. What do you think about that?
I don't fucking care.
It's just like a random story that no one cares about. Like we all love Lex and we're gonna love every scene that Lex is in, but
Who is we?
like everyone who likes Lex, okay, he's sick. But yeah, with Nixley, like, and I don't know, like, is Nixley gonna be the villain at the end of the season?
Or is it
I
going to be
reckon-
Lex and Nixley's going to be like intimidated?
What
or,
about
you know,
Lexley?
Yeah. But it just
The
it
ship
seems
of
a bit
dreams,
like
the ship
it
of
seems a bit
nightmares.
irrelevant. It seems a bit like, oh, why? Like, you know, were you just lacking story or something? Like, do you need to fill up time? I don't know. I don't know what the dynamic's going to be like, but I don't know. If
Oh,
it'll
I
be
forgot
like
that Lena was also Morgana on the Merlin show as well, right?
so maybe it's fan service.
Maybe it's a crossover. Maybe it's going to be like in a previous life.
Ooh.
He worked with Merlin. I don't know. What would everybody score this episode of Supergirl? Leave it in the comments. I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about it. Paigey loves it. He gave it a 10 out of 10. Perfect score. So
Don't know about that one.
I would say it's like a 8.5. I liked it a lot.
yeah, I had a lot of issues with it. So I would score it much lower than that. But you
Mhm.
know, I would probably put it somewhere in the middle. I feel like for me, it's like a 5 or a 6. But I was really annoyed with the way they handled the magic stuff. I thought that was very poorly done. But you know, if I were going to give it a 10 out of 10, it would be for John's moments in the episode for David Harewood's acting, so I thought was really good.
Yeah.
At the end of Merlin is in the present day, so maybe Merlin cameo in Supergirl. If they did that, that would be freaking hilarious. I don't know what I would do, or if anybody would even get it, but that would be pretty funny. So, what is this?
Okay, so this is the last week we can possibly do this. Okay. So share my screen, Eric.
All right.
Okay, so you're going to help me put on a bet for the grand finals, the NRL grand final, Rugby League grand final of Australia.
Okay.
But first, so I'm going to get.
Wait, wait. We need to clarify for the chat. How often do you do the betting for this stuff?
For NRL,
Like-
I'm in a punters club, so betting club, so once a week. This is
So
my
are you
personal one.
condoning betting for all the
Wow.
people here? That's what we're saying.
Well, you bet on your life every single time you step out of your house, Ben. So, and not clocking one across the head. So, yeah. So anyway, but to give some preface, we will. This is not copyright, Eric. So don't worry. You can watch this. This is like. So we're gonna watch this. Okay. I'm gonna mute it just in case. I'm not too sure. Okay. So what musical artist does this remind you of when he scores a try? Okay. So look at this. This is a great team. The red and green. The Rabbitohs, South Sydney Rabbitohs. What a brilliant team. So what does this remind you of? What a try. I mean, seriously, how good is that?
I don't know. What does that remind you of, Ben? It doesn't
Michael
remind you of
Jackson, he
anything.
moonwalk over the try line. Okay, anyway,
Oh my
so
gosh.
we're going to need okay, from Eric, choose a number between 1 and 13.
10.
10. Okay, who's 10 for Souths? I got the team list here actually. It's Totola. Fuck, he's not going to
Wait, can you
score.
explain how this works? I have no idea what this all means.
It's too long to explain. Honestly.
It's just it's rugby. It's rugby league, so it's just score a try. So this is this jersey number. Okay, Ben, you
Okay.
choose a jersey number 1 to 13.
4.
4. Campbell Graham. That's a good choice. Okay, and now the chat, choose a number between 1 to 12. I'm going to choose a thing from 1 to 12. From the
First
The chat.
person in the chat.
and that's going to be the winning margin.
6 is the first one.
Exact winning margin.
It's 6.
I'm not choosing the.
Yeah, there's 2 in a row. You have to.
You know
do
what?
something.
I'm going to go with 7. I'm going to go with Jasmine and Stagavor. So I'm going to go.
Okay.
God, where are we? South Sydney Rabbitohs. But oh my god! Whoa,
Wait.
2,000. If this gets up,
Is that terrible?
no, that's amazing. If this gets up, I mean,
All right. We got to wrap this up because I know YouTube does not
$0.
like gambling. So wrap it up.
Was that for $0? He said 0.
whoa.
He's gonna win big. He's gonna be flexing with all the money he's gonna get.
No,
there.
so if that gets up, I will. Oh, I was going to say the next after party.
Yeah.
If that gets up next after party, we'll give away 10. What's a good voucher, Eric?
All right.
For Americans,
Like just worldwide. What's a voucher that works worldwide?
worldwide.
Amazon.
I was going to say Amazon. Does Amazon have vouchers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 10 $50 Amazon vouchers giveaway if that gets up.
Okay.
Wait,
Alright, there we
what?
go.
How much would you win if you won?
I'm going to put $1 on it and I'll win $2,050.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There we go. All right.
So if that gets
No
up,
way
we'll
you
do
winning.
We'll do a
10
giveaway.
we'll give away 10 $50 Amazon vouchers next after
Well,
party
guys,
if that
do
gets
your
up.
praying.
That game is on Sunday, so it's in a couple of days. And
So by next week we'll know whether or
yeah,
not.
I'll let you know. You'll hear me on because if my team wins, I'll be going a bit ballistic because they're the underdogs.
Okay.
But also Russell Crowe owns our team, so I might get that gladiator mentality
All right.
coming in.
So this is going to be the 10-minute warning, and I'm going to pop up the screen now with the changes to my channel. Major changes to my channel.
Uh-oh.
No.
Wait, whoa. Did you
Guys,
censor
watch
this?
out. Watch out.
It's-
Santa.
Did you
Well,
censor
no,
this?
no. Like we've already talked about this. Like a few days ago, I pretty much shared it with all of the with all of my Team Herrick members.
Yeah.
So this is why my videos have been lacking lately because I've been working on this. So anyway, this is going to be the
Crack-a-lacking or
rebranding
just
of the
lacking?
channel. New review format, gone are rant and reviews. The new format will consist of more opinion-based reviews that focus on a couple of points from the episodes, and the full-on discussions will be relegated to the after party, new title pending. So, yeah. So I will still be doing reviews, but the concept of rant and review will end with Batwoman, because Batwoman will be the first show back that will cover this format. So it's going to be a completely new style of review. I'm still going to do the reviews. They're just not going to be called rant reviews because YouTube doesn't like the word reviews anymore. So I have to come up with another title for it because YouTube has decided that that reviews need to be suppressed. So, by the way, if you haven't noticed, review numbers are down. Anybody that's making content with just the word review in it. So you have to change it up a little bit.
You have to hide it at the end.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, the next thing is the big thing, which is the history of the Arrowverse. The history of the Arrowverse series will be 5 episodes a season with a bi-weekly release format, which, by the way, weekly is misspelled and they did not correct it. Each episode will consist of a topic that dives into actors, characters, storylines, or production information. It's going to be totally scripted. It will have high production value, so it's going to feel like a docuseries that you would get on like Hulu or something like that. I already have people working on that with me. The series will require a 15-second intro with talking to explain it to new viewers, so you'll get that at the beginning. It's going to primarily air between seasons of the show, and it will be early access for Team Eric members.
Oh, so is it actually a documentary?
It's a docuseries. It's going to be like with full-on, like straight up. There'll be 30-minute episodes with commercial breaks and all of that. So yeah, it's going to be, yeah. And I've got several people working on it with me. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And again, if you're a Team Eric member, you'll get these 1 week before everyone else gets them. And the first season, the first 5 episodes is focused on Arrow. And then each season of this will focus on the shows as they were released. So the first one will be Arrow, then of course Flash and Supergirl and all of that. So that's going to be kind of fun. The Does It Hold Up is going to return, which if anybody remembers, those were the movie reviews that my brother and myself did, but it's going to change. The series Winter Hiders will return for a format. It'll be bi-weekly, opposite of the Arrowverse history series. So every week that there's no Arrowverse episode, this will come out in the same time slot. It's also going to be broken up into seasons with a more relaxed production value, so it'll be more like a podcast. It's going to be uploaded also audio only for people for other services. This will be pre-recorded and released as premieres for audience interactions. So they will be premiered like a live stream where we'll be able to chat about it as it's going. It's going to focus on classic and recent movies, but pre-2010. Co-host TBA could be rotated, not totally sure yet. 10-second intro on that. It's going to be fun, like a 90s nostalgia type stream. And this is going to air year-round with small breaks. This will not have early access because it is a premiere. So I can't do early access on premiere. News weekly show, weekly news show. Drama Mama was the name that somebody gave me in the live stream, but I don't think that's going to be the name of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Why wouldn't you do Central City Citizen? At least you'd be more consistent.
Well, maybe. Now this may be live or recorded. I have an idea of how I want to do it. It's going to focus on articles from that week that we're in, whatever that week is. It's going to be for fun. Topics will be taken less seriously than a real news channel. There's no name for the show currently. It's going to be weekly. Yeah. But no name for it yet. It's going to be co-hosted, also may rotate guest, parody driven intro, 15 seconds long. This will include scheduled commercial breaks, and this will be early access filming while live. So if I decide to do this as a recorded show, people who are part of Team Eric will be able to watch it before it's edited and released. So basically like a live audience behind the scenes or whatever. And the next big change is going to be Content Creators Binge Battle. This isn't the official name, but it's pretty close to what it's going to be. This series will be done 3 times a year, consisting of 8 episodes each season. The premise is we're going to watch a classic episode of Arrowverse show or any other comic book property and discuss it in an interview-style conversation. We'll have questions for these content creators because they may be people you've never heard of before. Going to be intermingled with discussions of each episode. Clips may be used in post-production. Each episode will feature a different creator. The series will be early access for Team Eric members. So,
this is clearly the series that's either going to be 10 out of 10 or off the rails like disaster. It's clearly going to be one of the two.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who is Wash you going to be showing?
No.
Who's Wash do? You mean Wolf Stew?
But Ben, you're going to be on this. You're going to have a binge battle conversation with me, so we're going to do one of those.
Well, I know what episode
with
to pick.
Paigey?
Yeah, one with Paigey too, and I'm going to pick a real good one for us to do with Paigey. So it's going to be fun. But no, a few other people I've talked to is like
into the news.
Like there's a couple content creators like Matthew Haynes who does reactions. I've had a couple other channels reach out to me on Twitter. So
Robert Storms, is he?
No, he's not one of them.
Because the issue is that you might have to definitely color your beard that week to just distinguish. I might think there's two of you on screen.
Now, live streams like the After Party, Weekly, Geekly, and Member streams will remain on the days, will remain, but the days and format may shift 2 to 3 live streams a week as usual. Watch along content. Now, this is the fun thing, and Paige and I are going to do this with Legends, and Ben, you can join us if you want to. Watch along content will be for members only, and we'll start up twice a month. It may include binge content. So what we'll do is we're going to watch an episode together. Like we'll start it all at the same time and watch it.
That's a good idea.
As a podcast. It will be available for everyone to watch, but only members will be able to chat in the chat while this is going on because I want to avoid having to moderate the chat. So it'll be for members only. We're going to do that, but that's going to be really, really fun because we're going to do we're going to do the Legends finale. That's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to schedule that probably sometime in October, but we'll let you know. So anyway, basically people that were asking like why there hasn't been as much content on my channel. This is why, because I'm really heavily invested on all these different things that I'm working on and having them all ready to go by the end of October and definitely by the beginning of November. So a lot of big changes and some like more content for the Team Eric members as well. Like if you're a Team Eric member, you're going to have a chance to do more things and everything's going to be scheduled for my channel. I will have a date and a time for a release for everything and it will stay on that schedule because everything that I'm doing is going to be filmed all in advance. So like all 5 episodes of the History of the Arrowverse will be filmed, edited, all of that, and all scheduled to go out at their times all at one time. So there's no issue like where I'll get to a week and I'll say, oh no, I can't do that because, you know, YouTube did this, that, and the other. That won't happen because everything will have plenty of time to sit in the YouTube bubble to find out what they think of it and what they don't think of it. So what are you sharing, Paigey? What is this?
So we can have an Eric's Reloaded rebrand as the Eric's Reloaded TV show.
Well, I am going to rebrand the channel. I'm just not sure what's actually going to happen in that. Well, you guys, here's the thing that you're not losing anything. All my live streams, all my reviews will still happen. You're just gaining more content. I'm just shifting focus away from just reviews because YouTube doesn't want to grow channels that do reviews. So
also people are asking, have you contacted Grace Randolph yet?
No, I have not. Not at all.
That would be an episode I would watch.
I think it's kind of funny that Zoko thinks that giving people that pay for my services early access is an unfair balance. I mean, that's kind of a weird conversation. I mean, everyone still gets it.
Yeah, everyone still gets it.
How would I incentivize people to support the channel if I don't give them anything to do it?
It's like with video games nowadays. If you buy like a certain edition, you get it like a couple of days early.
It's like, I want you to sign up for my channel, but I'm not giving you anything because I need to make sure that all the people that watch
I don't think
it
anything's you're exclusive now, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, well, there is the podcast that is, but that's only because that's not edited or anything. But everyone will eventually get the content. It's not like I'm keeping all of that from everyone. Everyone will get the content. So, because I appreciate support from everybody, but you know, I have to also look out for the people that are paying for the service because. I mean, that's just the way it works. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it was an issue with the OnlyFans because the same stuff you put on the OnlyFans would leak out. So he's got to avoid the same issues that came about there.
Eric was the main reason for, the big article that came out recently.
I know, it was me. I'm the one that caused all the
he was responsible for
it.
What is that? Oh,
that's confirmation. I put $1 on it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
2050. Good luck.
So if you want to stay updated on Sunday,
2 or 3 of them have to score.
No, there's 2 try scorers and Souths have to win by exactly 7.
Exactly 7. 7 clear or 7-0?
No, 7 points. So the score has to be like 20-13 or 17-10.
You could do it.
Well, I'm hoping it does. I'm sure the chat's hoping it. Actually, because it's 2050, we'll make it 11. We'll make it 11 $50 vouchers.
Wow.
How about that? How about that stream?
11
about
$50
that?
vouchers if they manage
If they
to
get
win.
up, if that gets up, I'm telling you, if honestly, if it gets up, I'll be coming to the chat. We're doing a weekly segment, and there'll be Amazon
Page's
vouchers every
weekly
week.
$1 segment.
But if it gets up,
So look, come on, we need those Amazon vouchers. Yeah, exactly.
now everyone wants it to get up.
Guys,
Everyone was
say your
laughing at it.
prayers.
All of a
before.
sudden, everyone's a fan. They want to
Yeah.
pay attention or whatever.
Well, to be fair, Ben and Eric picked the two numbers, so I don't know. Actually, they won't get anything. They get my presents. That's enough.
Nah.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's
they got the snack boxes. That was their reward.
Yeah, true.
that is true. They were good too. Matter of fact, I've actually gone to the international market and purchased more Australian candy. So
Yeah, I've heard you've cleared out the Tim Tam section.
Yeah, I have. I love Tim Tams.
Yeah, there's been a shortage in America.
All because of Paigey sending them to me, and I was like, I need to buy all of them. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining in today. And Ben, are you doing a stream this week or no?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you doing it tomorrow or Friday?
tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So Ben's going to be live tomorrow, and we'll probably dive into more Supergirl over on his stream. So it'll be kind of interesting to see.
Oh, actually, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold
Give
on.
me 2 seconds. Just to give an update to everyone that was curious. Chat away because we still got 4.5 minutes until the 2
Yeah.
hour
Yeah.
mark.
What I'm curious what this update is.
So just talk about something until I'm able to actually
Oh, geez. He's looking for something. I don't know what it is.
just show what I can show.
He's trying to bet for something else.
It's giving
Yeah,
an update
probably.
from
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess that's what
wondering.
it is. By the way, I'm seeing Venom tomorrow night.
Venom.
Nice.
The Venom.
Venom 2.
When did
Have
that
you-
come out?
Tomorrow.
I don't.
Well,
think it comes
this
out here.
weekend. It's October 1st, so it's this weekend.
Comes out on the 15th here, so still over 2 weeks.
Well, I'm out of lockdown on the 11th because I'm double vaccinated now. So I don't know if it's
What? People who are unvaccinated stay in lockdown?
Yeah.
That's mad. That's peak for them.
yeah. I think that they can't go out. You have to if you want to go out and do stuff. You have to have the vaccine.
Pass.
The passport thingy or whatever it's called.
That's similar in European countries like Italy. You can't go in anywhere unless you're double vaccinated, but it doesn't mean you have to stay at home, you know.
So over here, you have to have the card. Well, in certain states, you have to have the cards to get in indoor events. Like you can still go outside and do stuff, but you can't go inside of buildings or things like that. So
In some, like, I had to show it for a theatre the other day here, but
They judge you?
it's... Huh?
Did they judge you?
No. And then in airports, you have to show it. But, yeah, I don't know.
I actually think because in international flights and stuff like that, I think it's going to be a thing for months to come. Like I think they're still
Sure.
going to test that out because they don't want to have people spreading it from country to country.
Here people getting their third shot, like as a booster.
It's happened here too. We've had some people do it, but it's like a particular group of people. Like they're not letting everybody do it yet.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Okay, I'm ready. You can put my screen on.
Oh no.
So this is an update on the FIFA team. So obviously last week we were over some packs. So this is my current FIFA 22 squad. In goal, we got Edison. He's an absolute beast, Man City, Brazilian tattoo. It looks a bit weird sometimes, but anyway. Got his Man City teammate, Yao Cancelo. Very good, pacey, cuts it in. We got the German man, aka Rudiger, aka Ben's mate. Joe Gomez, Ben's mate again.
Wait, did you know
Robertson.
that I went to see Arsenal the other day?
Yeah, you went to the League Cup game. Like, seriously, go
Yeah.
to a Premier League game once in a while. Okay, we got Ndidi, CDM, the Nigerian man, what's doing. Party, the Arsenal man, very underrated, very good. Gundogan, another German, another one of Ben's mates. Ismaili Sarr, 6'1" right wing, gets in there. Aubameyang, the Arsenal man, scores for fun. And Jack Grealish, aka Hipster Boy, aka if Emil Smith Rowe got a better inform, he might be replacing him, but he didn't get a good inform enough. So Jack Grealish is staying in the team. There we go.
So-
That's the end.
So,
That's
Paigey, do you watch Ted Lasso? Because you know it's about football, right?
I've
Yeah.
watched the first season. I haven't watched season 2 yet. I'm waiting. Is it all done yet?
No, it's 2 episodes left this season, I think.
Yeah, so I'll wait for it to I'll wait for
It's
it to be
really
done.
good.
It's
Ted
only half
Lasso
an
is
hour
really, really
episode,
good.
so I don't like watching shows that are so
You can
short.
just binge watch it once it's all
Yeah,
out.
that's what I'll do. And I've got Apple TV.
Yeah. So
'Cause I
and I
love
do
the
too.
Apple
That's why I
TV.
love that show and I love the morning show on there too. So
But the big question is, Eric,
mhm.
are you looking forward to next week's episode of Supergirl?
No.
Okay.
Also, in regards to Supergirl, they don't really do very good endings like the Flash. You know how the Flash always
Yeah.
has like an ending where you're like, oh shit, I want to watch next week. Supergirl doesn't really do that. So
Yeah.
it's a bit less
Hmm.
hype.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's going to be any worse than the last couple.
Oh no, I think it's
episodes,
still going to
especially.
be like as good.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to everyone next time, and join Ben for his stream tomorrow.
Adios.
Yeah. All right. All right. Anyway, see everyone later.
Oh.